What is going on, everybody? It's Alex back with another video, and today I put together a little wish list for Saints Row 5. As you guys know, I am incredibly excited about this game. I am keeping you guys up to date with every bit of the no information that we are getting about the game. I'm not salty about that at all, but trying to keep the hype up as much as possible, especially since we know that we are about to get some sort of announcement or some sort of talk about the game. We don't know exactly what it is, but we know at least in a few months, we are going to be getting some official news on the new Saints Row game. I figured I would put together a little wish list and kind of open up the discussion for you guys. So as always, in the comments, if you guys have anything that you want to say about the game, something you're looking forward to, something that you want to see the game not be, I think I know where a lot of you guys are going to be going with that. But basically what I'm saying is give me your wish list for the new Saints Row game down in the comments. But without further ado, let's hop into it. So first things first, I know this has nothing to do with the actual gameplay, but I think the release date is very, very important, having to do with the experience of the game. And the one stipulation I have for release date, whether the game comes out tomorrow, whether the game comes out 2 years from now, I don't think that's really important. The one thing that needs to happen is Saints Row 5, or at least whatever it's going to be called, the next Saints Row game needs to come out with at least a reasonable margin between the release date of that game and the release date of GTA 6. Saints Row 5 needs to come out before GTA 6. And the more time we have between Saints Row 5 and GTA 6, the better. See, this one's a little complicated for me because if you guys are familiar with my channel, especially if you're subscribed and you watch a lot of my videos, or if you just take a quick look through my video catalog, you would know that I basically cover 2 games, being Saints Row 5, and the majority of my channel even is GTA 6. These are hands down the 2 games that I am more excited about than anything else. I am incredibly excited about these games, and I want to see both of them do as well as possible. With that being said, obviously I want GTA 6 as soon as possible because I want to play it. I know it's going to be so much fun, it's going to be awesome, this, that, the other, whatever, but at the same time, I want both of these games to be as amazing as possible. And GTA 6 is going to do incredibly well. My hypothesis, at least, is that it's going to even do better than GTA 5, which is the best-selling AAA title game. It's brought in more money than any other entertainment product ever. I think GTA 6 is going to be even bigger than that. Unfortunately, Saints Row 5 is a lot smaller, and I just don't think it can compete with GTA 6. Meaning that if we want Saints Row 5 to be very, very popular, it needs to come out in a world where GTA 6 doesn't exist. If we are talking about it strictly from the prospect of giving Saints Row 5 the most ability to actually grow as, you know, a game, it would need, in my opinion, it would need at least a year between the time of it releasing and between the release date of GTA 6 to really grow. But honestly, I think 2 years would probably be even better. At that point, they would be able to capitalize on everything significantly more. But at the same time, that's also pushing GTA 6 2 years apart, and that sucks. So to be fair, this video is strictly about Saints Row 5, and for the purpose of this video, I really want to see Saints Row 5 come out significantly before GTA 6. I may be saying something slightly different if I were to make a GTA 6 wishlist video, because of course I would want it to come out as soon as possible, which would directly be hurting Saints Row 5. But at the end of the day, I want Saints Row 5 to come out before GTA 6. It just depends on what period of time in between those release dates would be optimal. But I think if Saints Row 5 can release before GTA 6, it'll have a very good shot of actually blowing up and getting pretty popular. Whereas if it releases after GTA 6 or even like right around the same time of GTA 6, I think it's going to kind of be lost in the water. Alright, so the next thing I want to talk about is I want to see a completely revamped system of character customization. Now, this is something we've seen throughout the Saints Row series, and a lot of people say that Saints Row 2 did it the best with the different layers of clothing that you could customize and you could really go into depth. I want to see that system completely overhauled. I want to see way more customization than we have ever seen on the game. I'm talking about like cyberpunk level customization. I want to be able to make my character look like any celebrity I want. I want to be able to make, you know, just crazy looking characters. I want to be able to add scars. I want to be able to do tattoos wherever I want. I want to be able to, you know, potential people have even talked about, you know, uploading certain things that you can put on your character. I think that would be awesome. I want to see a ridiculous amount of character customization. And If we're gonna do incredible amounts of character customization, I want to see where you can complete certain challenges or do certain things and actually unlock certain like customization features such as clothing or hats or gear that you have, something like that, where you actually get rewarded and you strive to play a game a certain way so that you can unlock certain things. I think that would be a lot of fun and add a lot to the game. Another thing I want to see is an incredible emphasis on side content. Obviously, I want to see a really well thought out and very long and very fun, hopefully not too repetitive campaign, story mission, and stuff like that. But when it comes to side content, I feel like this is something that, you know, a lot of these games, whether it's GTA, whether it's Saints Row, kind of struggle with. Like, yes, you can do other side missions, you can, you know, mess around, you can do little things here and there, but there's not like a real emphasis on side missions. Personally, I would like to see them do something similar to what Bethesda is known for, where you literally have side campaigns. For example, I'm sure most of you guys have played Skyrim. I would imagine many of you guys, like myself, probably wasted about a year of your life. I don't want to say wasted because it was a great time, but I dedicated a whole year of my life to playing Skyrim basically all day, every day, as much as I could. I think this was like my freshman year in high school, maybe probably in middle school at this point, but I played so much and I had different accounts and I had, you know, where I went through all of these side quests and became a vampire and I did all of these side quests and did this, that, and the other, and you would become like a part of this, you know, I mean, I forget exactly what all the guilds were and stuff, but there was like an assassin guild and there was all this stuff where you could complete the normal campaign story missions and everything like that, but then you could also do all of these other little things, and it wasn't just a side mission or a series of side missions. It was like a full story mode based on this, you know, area of the game that otherwise you wouldn't have even come across. You could get different gear specific to that guild or doing these side quests and different things of this sort. And this is something that I really want to see. I mean, all of these games have the little side missions and things you can do, but I want to see full-on, complete, thought-out, written, scripted side storylines. Now, the next thing I want to see in the next Saints Row game is a completely new map. Now, I would not be opposed at all to having some of the old maps, Stillwater, Steelport, in, you know, the game, maybe connected, maybe this is a part of the map, something like that. I would not be opposed to that at all, but I want to see a completely new map, a bigger area, you know, more diverse. I feel like the diversity of the maps really has been struggling a little too much. You know, GTA 5, I feel like it did a really good job with having the city hub and then the, you know, any area you can possibly think. I just feel like a map like that is really diverse and allows for a lot of exploration and things of this sort, where I feel like Saints Row has always kind of failed in that department. I would definitely like to see a much more diverse area. Now, I know that my YouTube channel right now is heavily built around GTA 6, Saints Row 5, covering leaks and rumors of these big open world games and things of this sort, but that's not actually how my YouTube channel started. It started way back in 2016 covering Forza Horizon 3. So that is, if you're not familiar, that is a car game, and I am a car fanatic. I'm absolutely obsessed with cars. I love cars. So this kind of clearly brings us to the next point. I want to see a much bigger emphasis on vehicles in the next Saints Row game. I want to see a much wider selection of cars. I want to see the customization regarding cars go way up. I want to see you be able to own cars, have garages, have multiple cars. Crazy amounts of customization when it comes to body kits, when it comes to the wheels, when it comes to the paints. I want to be able to have, you know, pearlescent paints. I want to be able to do full carbon fiber. I want to have all of these options. I want to have tuning upgrades where it actually like means something, you know, like not necessarily to the extent of like a simulator or something like that where you have to tune, but I would definitely like to have like legitimate performance upgrades that you actually have control over. You know, maybe you can make a drift car, maybe you can make an actual race car or a drag car. I would like to see actual races that you can have. Maybe it's against the AI, maybe it's against other people. Again, we'll talk about the multiplayer and online and stuff a little bit later, but I would like to see there be much more of a car culture in this game. I think that's something that Grand Theft Auto does really well. I think one of the reasons why Grand Theft Auto appeals to so many players is because it's literally any game you want it to be. It can be a shooter game, it can be a racer game, it can be a roleplay game, it can be anything you want it to be, and I feel like Saints Row although it's a similar format, they haven't really catered towards a large audience yet. It's kind of been one specific thing. I believe if they truly opened up the customization, especially when it comes to vehicles and races and the opportunities that these car people are given, I kind of do believe that Saints Row could appeal to a much larger audience. And let's be honest, I think most people enjoy cars and owning vehicles and that sort, even if you're not a gearhead like I am. So I think that's something that's very important to me. And even though other people aren't quite as interested in cars, I think it would still add a lot of gameplay and a lot of customization that basically everybody would really enjoy. So kind of building off of the cars and customization and everything like that, the next thing that I want to add to my wish list is plain and simply being able to own property. Again, I'm sorry to be the guy who keeps comparing this game to Grand Theft Auto, but you have to realize they are direct competitors. They're in the same market. I understand they're different games, they're different experiences. I know a lot of people that love Saints Row really do not like Grand Theft Auto, so I know they're not exactly the same thing. But they definitely are competing in the same loop, and I feel like in a lot of senses, Grand Theft Auto does some things that I would like to see Saints Row kind of, head in that direction. I don't want them to be the same games. I want them to be completely separate. But like I said, there's a lot of things that Grand Theft Auto does that I think would add a lot of value to Saints Row. And when it comes to being able to actually own properties and things of this sort, I think that's something that would help the game a lot. I mean, imagine being able to actually own an apartment or own a mansion, being able to completely customize the interior, spec out the house exactly how you want it. Again, this is something that a lot of people would really, really enjoy. And it would definitely be something that not everyone has to do. I mean, I'm sure there would be benefits to owning these things, so maybe, everyone would have to at some point own an apartment or something like that, but after that, it doesn't really matter. You can just cheap out, get what you get, and then not worry about it. But if you really want to delve into it, you can customize it, you can get all these features, you can add all of these things and really, really play around with it. Especially when it comes to Saints Row, even when it was more of the serious, like Saints Row 1 and Saints Row 2, there was still humor, and there was still this idea of, over-the-top action and things of this sort. So I think it'd be really cool to have, yes, some of the cars, some of the properties and things of this sort, but I think it would also be really cool to have some of the more crazy stuff. Like imagine just having a helicopter at your apartment or your house or mansion or building or something like this, and you can just kind of like leave in a helicopter and go wherever you want, maybe a plane, things of this sort. I feel like this would add a lot to the game. I know I want it. I know this is something that I would really, really love. Although I feel like this is something that people are going to debate with me. Not everyone would necessarily want this. So as I said, make sure to let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments. Alright, so now let's get to the things that I feel like are going to ruffle a lot of feathers, and that is online. First and foremost, I want to have a distinct single player and multiplayer. Now when I say that, I guess I shouldn't say the word single player. I want to have like a campaign. This is where, the story is written, like the main game that you would get at launch. And then I want to have a distinct online sector where you can do things with your friends and get in the lobby with a bunch of people and everything. I mean, honestly, again, fairly similar to Grand Theft Auto. One difference I would say is something that I really want is I want to actually have multiplayer, not online, but multiplayer, like a campaign. I want to have this actual campaign, but I want to be able to do like a co-op campaign. I want to be able to invite some friends. If I'm streaming, I want to be able to invite people in and be able to play with other players and go about these missions in different ways because you have multiple people actually helping you and working together. I think that would be so much fun, and I think that would add to it a lot. But also, I do want to have a distinct online mode where I think this is where it would be more important to be able to own property, to be able to own and customize cars, to be able to do all of these missions, to have these side quests. And obviously, I would definitely love an actual storyline, and then it would be very easy to actually add more, like in terms of DLC and content updates and things of this sort, you would be able to add, some of these new features, whether it's storylines, whether it's full side quests. I mean, that would be something awesome. I was talking about, the side missions and everything a little earlier in the video, comparing it to Skyrim. Think about a new content update every, couple months where it's a full-on, story mission that has something to do with some of these side quests. I guess more than a mission, like an actual side campaign where it would follow maybe some villain or some person you come across in the normal storyline. Maybe they show up in online and they offer you this whole line of quests. I think that would be really cool, and it would be a way to continue keeping the game thriving. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is microtransactions, and I feel like this is a very important thing to talk about. However, I'm going to go ahead and mention that I don't necessarily know exactly where I stand on this. Because personally, I'm not a huge fan of just paying like, oh, $15 and then you unlock all of this content. I think that's it's a little too old school, but at the same time, you have to spend extra money for them to be able to actually support this content. So it's not necessarily possible to have free DLC in the same way. So then you have the other option is you have the approach that GTA Online takes, where you roll out a bunch of free content, but you make everything very expensive to the point where a lot of people have to spend absurd amounts of money to actually participate in the content. So personally, again, I mentioned that I haven't necessarily formed a solid opinion on how I want to see microtransactions and updates and content updates and things of this sort happen. Personally, I think I would err more on the side of what Grand Theft Auto does, GTA Online. I would like to see something of that effect, but I do agree that the content is way too overpriced. I think what they should do is, I think a fix, maybe there's something wrong. Again, I haven't thought this out completely, but maybe they would have some sort of hybrid type thing where, you know, maybe everything does just cost a certain amount of money, where, you know, if you don't want to pay any money, you can just if you don't want to pay any real money, you can save up like in-game currency and then be able to participate in every part of the new content without actually having to spend any real money. However, maybe if you want to get a head start, or maybe you don't have enough in-game money to buy everything, so then you could buy, instead of like buying a shark card or something like that, you could buy like a $15 pass or something that will just give you exactly enough currency to buy everything. So then it would essentially just be like a $15 content update. But if you are really playing the game and really putting a lot of time into it and saving wisely and things of this sort, you wouldn't have to pay a single penny to be able to get all the content. I think something like that, where, you know, you're rewarding the people that really, really, really play, but you're also not punishing the people that don't play too badly. I mean, I think $15 for a full-on content update would be, you know, reasonable. But again, no matter what they do, people are going to hate it because people feel like, you know, they paid $60 for a game. There's absolutely no reason we should have to pay for anything else, even though it's costing the developers millions and millions of dollars, and they don't even get a whole lot of the microtransactions, period. So people are going to be unhappy with whatever they get, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. First of all, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I want to see what your wish list is. What are the things that you guys want to see in the game? What are the things you don't want to see in the game? What do you agree with me on? What do you disagree with me on? And finally, I really want to see some propositions of what you think they could do when it comes to monetization strategies, because I don't think, as I mentioned, that there is a single thing they can do other than just offering free content that people would actually be a fan of. But obviously, it's impossible to offer truly free content. It doesn't work like that. This is a company. They have to pay the people that are making the content. They have to be making money. So let me know what you guys think about all that. But thank you guys for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys for the support. Peace out. My mother wheel takes me all over the place. And wherever I go, I win minds and hearts. Don't need to climb stairs while I'm climbing these charts. Lilith, Roland, the other two dudes didn't come to my birthday party. Rude, but they all found time to go fight the warrior. Like this would be like some